Welcome on my walk today, guys, for lockdown day 15, and I'm just getting some exercise. I haven't been out the house in a few days, so it's ridiculous, really. You know how it is, guys. Working hard, yeah, not like you lot with your feet put up on your sofa, playing your video games, reading your books, reading your comics, and catching up on Netflix and Disney Plus. Unfortunately, like many, I have to work a full 8-hour day. Let's talk about Keir Starmer now, the new Labour leader, because I haven't had the time to cover him. What's he really got to do to get things right? Well, first of all, if we look at the fact that Labour has basically lost Scotland, a lot of the divide as well in Wales, they've lost their vote. But it's not, look, he's got to make Labour electable again. It's not as bad as you think. Labour lost the election because of the second referendum, yeah? I've talked to you guys about that before, and I'm very strong on that. Regardless of what policies you had in place, and there were some really good ones as well, what people wanted was to get out of Europe. And I'm talking about the majority outside the London M25. We know that over 90% of people who lived in the M25 wanted to stay in Europe. Outside of the M25 is a completely different story. So it doesn't surprise me when I hear all the Labour losses in the last election, up and down all over the place. Doesn't surprise me at all, yeah? Sorry, wearing my PPE gloves. With my PPE goggles as well, and I got my mask in my pocket. He's got to get a job done, but at the same time, he's got to reinforce the principles of the Labour Party. The main issue I think he's got is the anti-Semitism. That was destroying Corbyn. And regardless of what we want to say about it, it was always going to be there. Because remember, Labour made massive improvements considering what they did in the last election. Corbyn was actually doing a good job against Theresa May. They really closed the gap. And he was speaking to the working class. Unfortunately, this second referendum just ripped him apart. And look, if they went in there and said that they were listening, it would have been a different story. But we had three parties. The Conservatives were saying, we want to get out of Europe, vote for us. The Lib Dems were saying, we want to stay in Europe, vote for us. And Labour was saying, look, it doesn't matter what we want, it matters what you want. So you tell us what you want, and then we'll get it done. And unfortunately, that wasn't what the people wanted to hear. So they need to now focus on things like the NHS, housing, school, education, student costs. They need to focus on those things. They need to focus on the things that matter for people in their daily lives. As I said to you guys, Brexit ain't gonna change one iota for you guys, yeah? 95% of us that are voters on the electoral roll, Brexit ain't gonna do a damn thing for us. These jobs, you lot wouldn't get out of bed and do them. And that's the truth. Because I supply a lot of those companies, and they've told me what happens when they try to interview people who are local. Look what happened to all the nurses we had. A lot of them have gone back home, and this is a time where we need them. So Labour need to get back and reinforce those kind of messages. That if we didn't do that, we'd probably have an extra 5,000 nurses, maybe more, maybe 10,000. But listen, like I said, it's about making Labour electable again. And it's about bringing the message that anti-Semitism is not allowed in this country, or any party. And then he's got to start from the top. He's got to come up with manifestos which will improve on Corbyn's. And as I said, a lot of that has got to do with what's going on with our debt as well. So I think that needs to be focused on. But overall, look, I wish the guy luck. We've seen Boris lie. We've seen him hide his campaign contributions from Russia. We've seen him doing a lot of things which not a lot of people has agreed with. And we've seen Donald Trump do that as well, every day, for 3.5 years. And he'll probably lie every day until they kick him out in November. But what it would be nice to have is a Labour Party leader who can tell the truth and who's honest. That way people will be able to relate to him even more. And look, sometimes it hurts to tell the truth, but I would respect that, yeah? I would respect it. So, for me, Tell the truth, be honest, and come up with some policies that are slightly different, yeah? Do a bit of Tony Blair, mix it up a little bit. A little bit for the left, a little bit for the centre left, something for the moderates, and then you'll be able to gain voters in a way that many other people before you haven't been able to do. It's not a strong divide. The UK is not as much of a divide as America is, so the message doesn't have to be that extreme. Just make sure you're covering all your bases, that's all. Ed Miliband is back, still the wrong brother, but you can't have everything, can you? And I mean, well, listen, what he does well, but he's no leader. So I would prefer Ed Miliband in a supporting role. I think the most two things as well is the deputy and the head shadow are both female. So isn't that nice? We're talking about we want to see more females in power, we want to see them get a chance. I'm talking about someone who people can relate to, because look, I've never been able to relate to anybody in the Conservative Party, ever since I was a little boy. I've always been able to relate to people who are in the working class, and that's why I've mostly always voted for Labour. I did vote for the Lib Dems once, but that's another story. England had over 700 deaths today, so the death rate is climbing up in the country. Boris Johnson, in the morning when I woke up, it said he was critically ill. By lunchtime, it said he's making improvements. And by 5 o'clock, it said he's critically ill again and in intensive care. And that's what it is. From the people that I've listened to who have had bad experiences, they've said some days are good, some days are bad. And just when you think it's going good again, it can take a turn for the worst. So we really don't know what happens. At the moment, it's good because apparently they're saying he's not on a ventilator, although I don't believe them, because he wouldn't be in hospital otherwise. They could take care of him any other way and they wouldn't really need to get him into a hospital. He's the Prime Minister, for Christ's sake. Somebody could have gone to number 10 and just monitored him, with the right equipment, of course. So I think that something there is a big concern, and we just have to hope and pray that he can come out of it. At the moment, he's relinquished the decisions in the party to somebody else. A nice hot day today and not a lot of people are out. I should have been out for a walk ages ago, and it just has had to come later on in the day because I've been so busy. But it's good to see quite a few people out. There's not a lot of people here. I'm just walking over the park and there's actually nobody in there. So that's a good sign, not like it was the other day. I think everyone got a good slap on the hand on Sunday because seriously, they were taking the piss. People on the courts playing basketballs, people on the tennis courts, people just going crazy in this weather. Also guys, big shout out to Mina. I just saw her outside, they're jumping in her car. Thank you for watching the channel. I appreciate everything from you guys, and listen, I hope you're doing well, and I hope Mia's doing well as well. So hold tight, man, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace out.